What's up, viewers? Welcome to my channel on Sterling on Cinemas. That's Cinemas with an S. And today I'll be giving you my review on Dear White People as part of my Black Lives Matter series. I'm going to talk a little more about the series and what I plan to do with this at the end of the video. So, before I begin, if you are new to this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment on the section below, and I'll be happy to see you watch this at the very end. And if you're watching this on Instagram, same thing goes for you, Instagram lovers. Follow me, like, share with your friends and your family, and leave a comment on the section below and watch. Let's start this. So, Dear White People centers on the stories of 4 black students at Winchester University, where a riot breaks out over a popular African-American themed party thrown by a white fraternity. With tongue planted firmly in cheek, the film explores racial identity in a post-racial America while weaving a universal story of forging one's unique path in the world. Here's my take on the story. Dear viewers, I will say this. Before watching this movie, I expected it to be a sort of freedom of speech in its own right as far as just how much white people admire black people and how obsessed they are with us. However, we did see this. If you saw my review on The Hate You Give, you know I talked about this a little bit. And if I didn't, let me say this. If you've seen The Hate You Give, you know about this. But there's an aspect of the film where Star says she goes to her white school. She goes to her school where it's predominantly white and they get to act black. But she knows the minute she does it, she gets considered hood and she hates herself for doing it. But with Dear White People, it is just as much of a testament to how far white people take their obsession towards the black culture. And this might not be a biography, but it is based on a real issue. Now, Sterling, what is the issue at hand you're trying to say? The thing that makes it an issue is not the fact that white people are fascinated with black people. I'm flattered about the fact that other races are satisfied with the black culture. That's not the issue, because love is the thing that unites us. Love and respect is what unites us as a country. But the thing that constantly divides us on a daily basis is more so the exploitation of each other, or in this case, black people. I will say that most moments in this film had me lost, but I understood the direct satire on race relations that the filmmakers were trying to present to the audience, such as comparing the standards of living between how blacks are always on welfare and white people get so caught up in their privilege. Let me tell you something. Whether your standard of living is class A or middle class, it has nothing to do with race. It has nothing to do with race. It's just a common opinion. It's a popular opinion to say that, oh, all black people are on welfare, or oh, all white people are privileged. No, it's not a matter of race. It's just a matter of what you can afford. It's just a matter of your standard of living, where you rank in that community of where you can afford to live. But just the way the movie tackles these controversial tropes, these controversial topics in a satirical way about race relations, makes it feel much like a Spike Lee film, who does get referenced a few times in this movie. There are a few aspects of these race relations that are even given an ideological approach, such as why characters in movies are portrayed a certain way as far as race. Like, they talked about why Tyler Perry movies portrayed those black characters the way they do, or whether or not if black people can be considered racist if we've been the one that have been treated and oppressed over these years. Now, the climax of this film is more nuts than the controversy surrounding the race relations, which culminated in an outcry amongst the black students who attend the college. Now, I'm talking about, like, you've read the synopsis. It's a Halloween party towards the end of the film. And, you know, well, if you've seen that scene, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is a real thing. Like, you cannot. Like, I know Halloween just happened, but don't even try it next year. You cannot go out. You cannot go out pretending to be a different race that you are. It's a racist thing to do. Like, these... These white students decided to look black, act black, dress black, talk black, whatever you consider to be black. Now, the characters. Dear viewers, for this section, I am mostly going to talk about the four main black characters of the film. Tessa Thompson's character, Samantha White, is pretty much the revolutionary mind and voice of behind the radio show Dear White People. She really knows how to not only defend the opinions she states on her own show, but she knows how to be open and honest in a civil manner. Now, as a controversial radio host and mixed individual, she gets a lot of negativity from both her friends and enemies, which only fuels her with more questions and discussions and comments about what she talks about. Tyler James Williams' character, that's right, everybody hates Chris, Lionel Higgins, is a shy reporter for the school paper, The Independent. Now, it was very hard for me to examine this character with his introverting nature. However, according to the fandom for Dear White People, it states, although he exhibits social anxiety through actions like speaking quietly when trying to interview Samantha White and getting nervous at the party at the climax, his introduction centers around the fact that he notified the Black Student Union, which is kind of like the SGA, led by black people, of the racist blackface party that we see at the climax. Like, again, I said, the Halloween party, and also exacted some revenge of his own at the party. Teyonah Parris' character, Colandrea Connors, or Coco, is one of the few black students on campus who had negative sentiments about the radio show, and this is mostly because of how different these two are presented as black women. See, Coco pretty much prefers to be around a small crowd of white women, and she even mentioned in the beginning of the film, that no part of her is hood or ghetto, but this is just pretty much her choice depending on the people she wants to surround herself with. Like, she's speaking proper language, and she's acting civil, and she's not acting like no prostitute or, But Troy Fairbanks is portrayed by Brandon P. Bell in both the movie and the show, which, by the way, as I was writing my review for this movie, I never knew that there was a show that went by the same title. So I was curious to see I was surprised to hear that the show was actually a spinoff of the movie that came 4 years prior to that, and it went deeper, and it just continued the story of where the movie left off. Now, fandom for Dear White People also stated that Troy Fairbanks has been raised under the care of his father, Dean Fairbanks, who is the dean of the college campus. Under his love or lack of love, he was taught how to dress, how to present and express himself in mannerisms of the higher class, the class A. Like I said, privilege, deeming this the appropriate method of gaining respect from others. This, however, has placed conflict between himself and his black peers. And this goes back to black people comparing themselves to not only white people, but also discriminating against themselves, reverse discrimination. Like, you discriminate somebody who looks like you, not because they look like you, but because they have a different kind of standard of living than you do. So like I said, it's not even a matter of race. It's just a matter of how much education you get and the wealth that you have and own and possess and what you can afford. It just goes back to that. Rotten Tomatoes gives Dear White People 91% score. Dear White People was quite an insightful and interesting tackle into race relations and the controversial comments that it raises. It is nice to see this movie show how big of a scope the issue of race exploitation is, and how we should stand up against racial slurs and prejudice to stand up for what is lawful and just, no matter where you come from. Now, the fact that they expose or present to the audience racial exploitation and what it looks like is no surprise, because racial exploitation is an act of racism, whether you're being humorous about it or being serious about it. But most of the race exploitation in this movie towards the end is not even played for lighthearted jokes, but it's just dark humor. It's racist, but it's not, it wasn't trying to, they weren't trying to directly be racist with these people, but they were just trying to be black. Like I said, white people, but it just pretty much evokes how much the white people really care for us. And the same thing doesn't just, we don't see this similarly in Hate You Give, but the same thing goes for Get Out. Like if you saw my review on Get Out, you pretty much know that in that movie, the reason why the white suburban residents did what they did, the reason why the Armitage family, which is really just a deadly cult, did what they did to these black people is because they want to become them. Some people want to be cooler or faster or stronger. That's just how it is. That's just, so like I said, it's not the fact that the white people love and are obsessed with black people. That's cool. But it's just the race exploitation and how far somebody will go to literally change themselves physically. So yes, for that, I will give this movie 8.7 SOs out of 10. So that is my review on Dear White People. If you've seen it, if you have Netflix, you can go ahead and watch it right now. I think it's on there. But if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go see it. It's one of the most interesting films that really advocate for the line Black Lives Matter. So that is the end of this review, and I just want to get something out here while I can. Next week is going to be very fun. Like next week going forward is going to be fun because I'm starting 2 playlists next week. I will discuss it more later tomorrow, but I'm just here to tell you that I'll be putting this playlist on hold. This is not the end of the playlist. I can literally add so many other movies centering on racism in this playlist, but I will be picking this playlist up back in February because that is Black History Month. So next Tuesday and Monday, I will be starting new playlists. I will be talking about what those playlists will be tomorrow. It is going to be a surprise. So I hope everybody has a good night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.